How's it going, guys? Oddly unorthodox here. Total War, Warhammer 3, multiplayer, 2v2, which is starting to become a lot of what I upload if I'm honest. But this time we have Lizardmen. I did release one or two Lizardmen videos a couple of weeks ago. May have been last week, but I decided that actually let's make a bit of a different build, something a bit on the fun side. So I go into a custom game and I find a 2v2 against two players that both wanted to play undead by, it seems. Obviously we're against a vampire council and a vampire coast, and I decided to have a bit of fun with it. I brought a Slan Mage of Fire with only 2 spells, which is Burning Head, Flaming Sword of Ruin. We've then got 2 Bastiladons with solar engines, a Ancient Salamander, 2 squads of Salamander hunting packs, 2 squads of Saurus with clubs and shields, going to slow this down, and then 3 squads of red-crested skinks because in my opinion they're cheap and cheerful, and then a hidden surprise just in case. This is really just to screw with the Vampire Coast artillery backline, stuff like that. 3 squads of chameleon stalkers. Now I'm guessing you can see the idea behind this build is I have massed fire. Enough fire to stop as much regen as it takes, and I have an ally Tzeentch player who's running a Chaos Lord of Tzeentch on a horse, bunch of flamers, marauders, chaos warriors, etc. Triple Chaos Knight of Tzeentch. Not much in the missile department it seems, but he has got some odd flamers, stuff like that. Anyway, going forwards, the first thing we want to do is move up. We don't want to let them have the artillery. I've been meaning to sort of, maybe I'll do it on this game, break down a game for how I would, going into this game, what do I see? One, they have superior advantage when it comes to artillery. They have 3 squads of mortars and a gunnery right. So at the end of the day, if we sit back and allow them to shoot at us, we're just going to get taken apart piece by piece. So sadly, the red-crested skinks will just have to deal with being absolutely shot to bits. And we're going to have to take the fire in the face as we sneak our chameleon stalkers around. Always see the games like chess if it makes it easier for you. And there's different strategies to deal with different things. Obviously, there's a lot more factors in races, builds, etc. But you've got to make the move which is the most obvious and suitable for you. So as I did say, those red-crested skinks get absolutely worked. And now we move in range and start trying to take out some cannons. Well, mortars you should say, not cannons. Had no carronades, just mortars. If I had carronades, I would have been quite worried about my big dinosaurs, but he's only got mortars, so nothing really to worry about. As you can see, we are chipping away at the mortars, trying to break them as quick as possible. The Ancient Salamander is absolutely cracking at breaking them. So as you can see in a minute, we break the 2 Bastiladons off the cannons and set them to deal with something else, while the Ancient Salamander actually deals with the mortars. So the players here at the back, you might wonder what I'm waiting for. The chameleon stalkers are waiting for the sirens and the blood knights to go so they can get on top of the deck gunners and shut them down. That's the play I'm waiting for there. We give the flaming sword of ruin to the Saurus warriors that are in the melee fight, and we support them with a flaming head, and we also get they get decimated by psychic attacks there. The flaming head doing an okay job burning into that squad too. Our Slan Mage running up just to drop some annoying little spells, stuff like that, just to help win the melee fight a little bit easier, we can hope. So we've dealt with them. The sirens have moved, and then he's got Graveguard waiting us back up there that he didn't move in. But we move our red-crested skinks across to deal with the Typh and stuff like that. We don't see the cheeky, sneaky flank by the Feasters in the Dark. And then also there are some Night Terrors waiting there as well. But we do keep a squad of Saurus back just in case we need to. And then as you can see, it's about ready to spring our trap. We do drop the blood statuette of spite, which is quite a good sort of like Flock of Doom type thing. It's a cast spell of the Slann Mage. He gets it just being a Slann Mage, and I think he gets 3 casts of it. Yeah, 3 uses, and it's just bog standard, doesn't cost any sort of winter magic. We're going to help send the Saurus over here to try and plug this hole, while we use these Salamander hunting packs to pepper the Feasters in the dark. And then as you can see, the solar engines now we're going to deal with her. Our chameleon stalkers, I was going to call them skinkers then for some reason, sneak up on these deck gunners and get them shut down. We're in quite a commanding position here, because we break all of their regeneration by having a lot of fire magic. As you can see, another burning head there. It veers off a little bit, which is quite sad, not hitting the second squad of Graveguard really. But it does roast the first squad. And as you can see, we are quite happy with the fight at this point. We're now just breaking off the Feasters in the dark. The solar engines, they hit, they sometimes miss. It's one of those. The good news is once you run out of ammunition with the solar engines, which you do get quite a lot of it, they're great to beat stuff in with anyway. You know, they're good, nice fighting dinosaurs. And you can see that we're chipping away quite nicely at Cleostra. So I'm more than happy with what's happening there. And then the Salamander hunting packs now are just... These guys are now just looking for units of opportunity. So we're shooting the Vargheists. Jesus, they really missed. And then we're trying to dismantle the enemy as soon as we can. Take out the little flanking parts. We're dropping a spell down here. Can't tell you what spell it is. But there comes the damned Knight Errants. Bit of a pain in the backside, but not much that we can do. Another flaming sword just to try and cut through the Night Terrors. The Feasters in the dark. And now we want to back up quite quickly because we're getting flanked quite hard. I'll send the Bastiladon to hold those Blood Knights for a little bit because we will get the Basilisks back. Salamanders, sorry, not Basilisks. Salamanders back to pepper them and deal a good amount of damage to them. This one's being tied down by some Vargheists, but we managed to pull these guys back out. The chameleon stalkers. I must apologise for my terminology messing up here and well. I am not very well. I have mentioned in the video the ear infection's killing me, so I do apologise if I get names wrong here and there. And I'm not a massive player of the Lizardmen. So we send the Slann Mage in there. We did manage to get the shield down using we've got our Arcane Surge as well. And then now we want to back up. The banishment goes down. That's obviously also tied with the Slann, just to try and chip away. It doesn't go the way I wanted it to, sadly, but it is what it is. This Bastiladon's not having a great time with those Blood Knights, and now I know I need to do something about it. So I've noticed I've got some Saurus Warriors sat here. We charge them in. We do have some Chaos Warriors of Tzeentch coming in, which luckily seems to scare one of the squads off. And then he takes the bait and goes after my Slann, which is fine, which is what I want. I can now run my Salamanders out. And then we do drop a flaming head just there, just to try and peel off, burn them, do a little bit of damage. And then you can now see the solar engines are free. And we've managed to free up some of our Salamanders. And now it's just a case of sort of like running and kiting. Use the Slans by as much time as possible. And then pick off the rest of their pieces by using the amount of AoE that I've got left to me still. And you can see here that's the sort of play. We break off the Vargheists, get rid of those, and now we can start picking off a good cast there. We can start picking off the Blood Knights, making sure they don't get a chance to regen. The solar engines are really putting in work on the Red Duke. We drop another shield of the old ones, try and give a little bit of damage resistance. He's quite happy to chase him, but now I know the game's pretty much won. We try and break the Death Guard, the Grave Guard that are back there. And then as you can see now, we chase down the Red Duke. He's being gleaned to try and take away some of his magic. And now we just get to sit back, take shots at him. One of our Salamander squads does get destroyed. Those zombies are going to be unsummoned soon anyway, so I don't need to worry about them too much. But we've still got the Ancient Salamander. He decides to run in and fight the 2 Bastiladons, which in all fairness, the 2 Bastiladons isn't that much HP. Bastiladons are not weak in the slightest. Still very good stats. They're still Bastiladons and they still hit quite hard. So it's not a fight he's going to win, especially with the Ancient Salamander in there as well. Which is always good because the extra fire damage on the melee attack really helps cut through the regeneration. And now I've managed to break away the other things. And just like that, it's GG. And there's a victory. Now let's have a look at sort of how much the squad's made, how much damage they dealt, and where I think they could have done better, maybe improved on. The Red Crested Skinks, I think, did alright for the fact they got shot to absolute smithereens. So maybe I could have replaced them with Skinks if I'm honest, and Skinks would have done that a little bit better. The Chameleon Stalkers did what I need to and shut down both of the squads of the Shade Wraith Gunners and the other Deck Gunners, so I'm more than happy with that. Saurus Warriors, you know, they didn't make their value, but it wasn't a quite a harsh shooting army. Now here's where the big numbers should be. 1 squad of Salamander Hunting Packs, 1800. 1950 on them, nearly 3000 on the Ancient. Both Bastiladons made decent, 2000 on that one only 1079, but again not bad. And even the Slar Mage made his money. An army with real good teeth, not only against undead factions, but I think this would work even against factions that take healing normally, so it'd be quite good against Nurgle and forces like that. And I think it's also quite good at gooning those big characters. There's a lot of pressure. But obviously, if you're not playing into something with a lot of regen, you can drop, you know, maybe both Salamander Hunting Packs and take the Ancient Salamander, and then maybe take some Chameleon Skinks or take some more Saurus Warriors for a bit more frontline, or maybe a Croxagore. And again, you can maybe drop the Slar Mage and maybe bring in Garok or something like that, maybe a bit more of a combat-focused Lord. That's everything for this video, guys. It's been oddly unorthodox. If you enjoyed this, like, comment, subscribe, and I look forward to catching you on the next one.